Hello, IAMPRO community, and welcome to our Q&A. Today, we have the gorgeous Mim Shaikh. He is a broadcaster, actor, writer, spoken word poet. He's a man that can do it all, and his journey into the business has been quite extraordinary, and he is here today to share that with you. He's just finished filming a film called What's Love Got to Do With It, and that's going to be on our screens at some point in the near future. So without further ado, I am going to bring him in.
Yes. Charlie, what's happening?
Thank you so much for coming here with us today.
No, you're absolutely welcome. Thank you so much for having me. When I got the intro message from a lovely lady called Suzanne that we both know, her recommendations go a very long way because she's like an auntie to me, like in real life. And when she was singing your praises about what like work you want to do and how you want to like better things and basically give people inspiration, I was like, yeah, 110% I'm there. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, I've heard that inspiring is something that you are, and I think the word magical was thrown about. So we
magical, are what?
Magical Mim.
Yeah, I've heard that one before, but I've never been called magical. Magical is an amazing adjective.
Yeah, we love it. Well, thank you. It's really amazing to have
and can you. I just say before we start, how much I've grown up watching you on screen. Yeah, you do know that, and I just like what like everybody knows. If anybody who knows me, like in regards to EastEnders and Barry, and you and Janine, like it's mad. It's mad because EastEnders was iconic in my household when we were growing up, and my aunties used to watch it religiously. So it's a good thing.
Oh well, you know, Janine is still living on in my heart, so she's here. She's here and she's trying to see some good in the industry. Let's make it affordable and let's try and open doors for people. And that's why we've got you here, because your journey in has been quite extraordinary. So can you talk to me? First of all, did you go to drama school? Can you talk me through your journey from when you were younger and how this all happened?
Yeah, so the first question you asked in regards to did I go to drama school? No, not at all. But for me, how I kind of fell into like the arts and like acting is quite a weird kind of story in regards to it's not as conventional as, you know, studying drama school. Even in GCSEs, like I never done drama. We had the worst drama teacher ever when we were studying in GCSEs. And I feel like I could have probably done a lot more if I had a better teacher. But where I did have a better teacher was in media studies and history and English and all of these subjects that were basically communicative subjects and allowed like me to express myself through creative endeavors. So like we would make a magazine, we would make a video, we would write essays. I'd learn about representation in year 10. My teacher had like this acronym on the wall called RAIL, and it would be representation, audience, institution, and language. And I still remember that now because I was learning about that in year 10. So I done my GCSEs. I went and done A-levels in like history, English, and media. And then I decided to go to university and study broadcast journalism because I really wanted to basically be a journalist and work. Kind of what you're doing now is like interview people and become a radio presenter and a broadcaster. And then when I was like in that BBC building, I'd be meeting so many people and I'd be making my own content on YouTube. And I got myself an acting agent and I went to acting like lessons at the Actors Temple in Warren Street. I'd learn about the Meisner technique. And I just, that's kind of like, it explained in like a nutshell, but like an overall nutshell. I didn't go to drama school. I kind of just fell into it like a lot of people say. But I think one thing that I was really good at is creating my own opportunities and like working really hard and creating kind of my own luck and working with like really good people at the same time. That's what I would say was like how it kind of all happened for me.
So you say you got an agent, but it's not that easy to just get an agent, is it?
No, it's not.
So how did that come about?
Okay, so I was making like sketches and pranks videos on YouTube, right? I was putting up,
that's content.
Yeah, I was making creative content where I would dress up as like famous R&B singers and pop musicians like Bruno Mars, Peter Andre, Jay Sean, and I would try to get into award shows as these people. But it would be like a Dom Jolly kind of trigger happy TV kind of sketch that I would make with my friends, and I put it up on YouTube, and some of them were doing okay. But what I used to do is behind the scenes after putting it out is I always knew that where I wanted to kind of end up is to kind of do it professionally, is I'd send those video links to like all agents in the UK. I used to just be like, check this video out, check this video out, check this video out. And some people obviously, some people ignored me. A lot of them ignored me, to be fair. But some people responded. And the lady that I'm still represented by, an amazing, lovely lady called Lucy, she's still my agent to this day, and she took a chance on me. And we've been able to work together over the last like 6-7 years and get drama series, feature films, independent, studio backed, comedies, like so much like projects. If I look back over it, and it just happened by creating my own opportunity at the end of the day.
That's amazing, because something we really have to get used to in this business is rejection. I mean, I write letters to agents. Sometimes I've written them in the past and I've been ignored, you know. Yeah. And the amount of jobs that we go for, it's, you know, what I love about you is that you just haven't given up. You just brush yourself off and you're like, no, let's keep going. And
I think that comes from like the rejection that you're talking about, because I think if you are so used to people saying no, you already know that, okay, if this person says no, what's your backup plan? What are you gonna, if they say no, okay, where are you going next? Or what's another opportunity that you can kind of do to kind of push yourself through? So sorry to interrupt. I just
No, it's you I want to hear from. No one wants to hear from me on IAMPRO. It's you. It's your journey that we want to know. So that's amazing. So you when you say creating your own content, you did all that. Did you get into any of the after show parties, by the way?
Yeah, I did.
That must have been hilarious.
You know, I done this Jay Sean prank back in the day. Yeah, it's some crazy story, right? So I made this video of like pretending to be Jay Sean to go into the Mobile Awards. I got into the Mobile Awards, and as I got into the Mobile Awards, they literally allowed me to come in to the Mobile Awards, right? And afterwards, I actually met Jay Sean in the BBC building, and he came up to me and he was like, "Oh my God, you actually made this video about me. Like, who is this? You look nothing like me." It was absolutely hilarious. But yeah, some of the other ones didn't work, but that was one of the ones that did.
Yeah, how funny. Okay, right, let's go back to, you've got an agent, and then you start getting auditions and work.
Yeah.
What was your first job? Can you remember being nervous? Because you didn't go to drama school, always been one of my insecurities, part of the reason how this platform has come about, because I want to bring the drama school to them, to people that otherwise, you know, through financial obligation or geographically, they just can't get to the good coaches you know, that's what IAMPRO wants to do, is bring it to them. So did you start having acting lessons, or are you just like, you follow your instinct and you just like, I'm just going to jump in?
No, I did. I went to classes. There's I studied at
Temple.
Yeah, so I went to the Actors Temple and done like a foundation course there, and I drop in to do like Meisner classes, and learn a lot about, and I think that was quite revolutionary in my work, because I learned about the whole process of like living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. And that's like Sanford Meisner's saying as like an acting coach. And I was just very like intrigued into that whole world. And I'd be reading books on like Stanislavski. So I'd do some reading on like Chekhov, a few of these like amazing acting coaches and teachers. I'd just be reading up on them. And I was really interested in just learning kind of what the craft was about, even though knowing I haven't got a lot of work so far where I can display that. And then what happened is at 25, I got my first feature film role in a British independent film called Freehold. And I was able to basically like practice all the things that I was learning at the time through classes, through books, and I got the lead role in it. And I remember being like, oh my God, how have I fluked this? This is mad. Like, what is going on? Like, but I remember just being there. And sometimes what I've learned is, if you're scared about doing something, you just need to be pushed in, have the opportunity to do it, and just wherever your emotion kind of takes you, and you just give it as much as you can, it just ends up working. In such a good way.
Do you have a favorite sort of practitioner or method of was it Meisner or one of those that you feel sort of in alignment with? Because I spoke to someone the other day who sort of dips their toe into method acting, but I mean, that can be quite exhausting. You know, for me, I like to leave it at the door. I mean, sometimes it creeps into your life and you can't help that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have like favorites?
I wouldn't say method as much. I think that's it's a bit OTT and it's a bit too much. And people can do it. I think it can be quite depending on, you know, the character that you're playing and what you're trying to embody. That can be different. But I do like Meisner. I do like the ability to like connect and like what it taught me is how to not overact. And I always thought acting was this thing of, you know, you're overacting and you are putting on a show and you're performing. Whereas I realized actually the best people are the ones who are able to strip away all of the pretenses or all of the ideas that they think they should be like this and they should be like that and they should speak like this, and kind of bring themselves or parts of themselves, I should say, into the roles that they are kind of playing. Because I feel like all of us as human beings are so like interconnected and relatable to one another that we can find similarities in ourselves and other people.
Mim, I totally hear you. I always think our characters are really an extension of who we are. You know, we bring of ourselves. That worries me to say that because Janine was so bad. Maybe I should admit to that.
I was about to say, did you actually push someone off a cliff like in real life? But I guess Janine allowed you to kind of maybe, Janine, she kind of let you embody that maybe frustration that you might have felt once upon a time.
Yeah, I always love exploring the fun side of her as well. You know, I think it's really important to sympathize with your characters. And so in my eyes, she was just, you know, I'd always go back to that lost little girl and she was just misunderstood and she didn't know how to place herself in the world and she got it wrong. And, you know, she never killed anyone. Barry did slip, by the way. She just didn't get enough. So I think it's really important to sympathize. Yeah, for sure. So what's your process? You get a script, you got the job, your scripts are in front of you. Let's say film. Yeah. How do you begin to break that down?
I'd like look at, I'd read obviously all the dialogue. I'll make notes. I'll highlight. I'll basically scenes. I'll do my scenes like this. Like I feel like every scene has like there's an arc throughout the whole film for your character, right? Your character starts at point A and then ends up in point Z or whatever. But I think even for scenes, there's individual like character arcs. So I'll make sure I know how the character would start off in the beginning of a scene towards how they would end towards the end, and know kind of what was the trigger point for them in the middle to kind of get to that. It doesn't work in all scenes, obviously. If it's just a scene of you like walking down the street, it might not be that it might not happen. But for other scenes, it would be able to be like that way inclined. I'd read the script and I'd learn. What I love about it is not what the character's actually saying, is what other people are saying about the character. Like,
so many people say that. It's so true.
Yeah, I love that so much because, like in real life, right? When you like hearsay and word of mouth about people is such a strong thing. So like we connected because we both have a mutual friend who spoke highly of both of us, that we both worked with in some capacity, and that brought us together. In a script, if character A and character C are talking about character B, but they're talking of character B negatively, you'd get an insight into like, why are they talking about character? What has character B, who I'm playing, done to make character A and C think that way about them? So it gives you a bit more ammunition to think, oh, this character that I'm reading for or now that I'm playing, I thought was this way inclined, but hang on, their perspective on it just gave me a whole new area to like walk into and personify. So I think that helps a lot.
So that is very much being a detective and going through those scripts, isn't it? And doing your detective work and finding out who's saying what, and, you know, things present themselves as you go through. Line learning, how do you go about that? Have you got any top tips for our young creatives?
Yeah, so I record my lines into my phone. And I know it's probably a common thing that a lot of people do, but I find that it helps me a lot. I record the other person's lines, the reactory lines to what I'm reacting to, into the phone, and literally play that sometimes in headphones, and kind of know where I'm gonna come in, what I'm gonna say, certain things, how I'm gonna say it, reading over quite a few times, and kind of going through the dialogue in my mind. It's weird. Like I feel like in my brain I have like a notepad, and like in the notepad is like dialogue, like for scenes. Obviously, when I'm like this film that I just done, I even remember doing it then, where it's like, okay, my wife says this, I'm saying that, and my wife says this, and I'm saying that. And what ends up happening is I end up knowing the other person's lines as well as your own lines, but you kind of have to, because you have to know where you're reacting and what you're kind of giving yourself to. So yeah, I'd say that is probably a top tip that's helped me. Is to
it's called being prepared, babes.
Yeah.
Super prepared. And if you're prepared, then you know that's when you're going to do your best work, and that's when you have the freedom to play the most.
Yeah, because isn't it the worst feeling of like, for me it's the worst, like I get this weird like down gut like wrench feeling of, oh my god, I don't know my lines. Like how bad is that?
Yeah,
I just feel like it's like, oh, and it happens. Don't get me wrong, people have like days where they might not be as on point as they usually are, but I don't know, man. I never want to be that guy. I never want to be that guy. So I'm always over prepared.
Yeah, I've had experience of that, and it's horrible, just through life stuff that's happened, and you know, I don't recommend it to anyone. So your first day on a set, so a new set, do you get nervous, like meeting people in the read through? How do you handle the nerves, and or are you just like, I mean, you seem so comfortable in your own skin, which I love. It's really magnetic. So yeah, talk me through that. How do you handle your nerves?
Yeah, I think in my first job, I was overperforming, and I had so much ego and bravado as like a young 25-year-old, being like, yeah, first role, I'm gonna kill it, it's gonna be sick, I'm gonna smash it. But deep down I was so nervous, and it was at a very like emotional time in my life, because when I was 25, I lost my grandmother, and my grandmother was like my mum and my dad and like my sole like parent that I've always had in my life. So I lost her at 25, and then it's like, right, cool. 2 weeks later, got your first like feature film that you got to shoot, and it's like, whoa, life comes at you so fast. But it kind of helped me, because it's what I love about acting, is sometimes when you're able to embody other people and other characters, there's parts of yourself that you can access that you put off for such a long time in reality, because society tells us that we should always be, you know, like pull your socks up, get on with it, chin up, on with, like it's always like that. So I think, especially as a man as well, you know, I think acting and the arts overall in general, if you like, allows you to kind of like give into your sensitivity sometimes, which is a beautiful thing.
I think accessing that vulnerability and being accepting of that and sitting in that can be quite amazing, actually, if you can open yourself up to it. You know,
10%, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like, 25. Yeah, that I think I was over. Well, anytime I do that now, I realize I have a word with myself, and I'm like, just calm down, be yourself. It's all good. You don't need to overperform or overact or be anyone else right now. And I feel like I've learned that. So in comparison to like in the space of 4 years of working on my first feature, and then now just shooting this feature that we just done, is like there's a whole different energy. Like I'm like on set, it's not apprehensive, I'm not nervous, I'm talking to the DOP, I'm speaking to the runners, I'm speaking to the second AD, I'm with my cast members. Like it's different, and I think it's just growth. Like literally, I think it's just becoming. I think it's getting older as well. You just become more comfortable in your own skin, as you said. But
Yeah.
it's not feeling like you're out of place. Like you belong in the spaces that you've worked yourself to get into, and owning that, and really like being like, yeah, I do deserve this.
Imposter syndrome is a thing. It's a thing. I've had it quite a lot in my career, and it can actually be really debilitating. It's sort of.
How have you dealt with it? Like, how do you? Is there any way that you get over it or anything?
The last few years, it is definitely an age thing for me. In the last few years, I've really, experienced a lot of personal growth and that sort of thing, and really explored for the first time probably who I am and learned to accept who I am. And I've always been really super confident and on the outside. And, there's just been this niggle inside that's just said, you're not good enough, you can't do it. They've made a mistake hiring you, and it can, if you let it, that can really get in your way.
Yeah.
So I've just, I do a bit of meditation, and I've really got into that over the last few years, which some people may relate to or they may not. But I just, it's just exploring that personal growth really, and repetitive patterns, reassuring myself.
No, it's important. It's really important.
Being kind
to yourself. Yeah, because I feel like when I was younger, I was so hard on myself. Like, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to achieve this, you have to achieve that. Whereas the conversations that I'm now having with myself are like, it's gonna happen. Chill out. Don't worry. Just make sure you're laying a brick every single day towards whatever it is that you want to either create, make, or be a part of. And don't go too hard on yourself, because what's the point in achieving all of these things and these huge accolades and these amazing achievements if your mental health is to die for it, or is to you're putting a strain on yourself at the expense of like heightened achievement? Then it's no point. Like, you just let it go. Well, what's the point? It doesn't make no sense. And I had I had that realization, like, I think over the last couple of years, and I feel better for working in this way in comparison to what I did before.
You have to make sure that you do love the work and that you are loving every brick that you lay on the journey, because I think if we attach to an outcome, it's always, I'll be happy when I win a BAFTA, or if I get an Oscar, if I get that film. If we lay all of our hopes and dreams and happiness on those achievements, even though of course it will be wonderful one day, I think it's all about making sure that you love what you're doing, love your work, you're enjoying that journey.
110%. I couldn't agree more with you. Like, literally, I think, because that's what it is. Otherwise, you lose precious moments. Like, part of the, like, this last film that we just done, the amount of joy that I felt. Like, I think there's so many reasons for it. A, because it's a pandemic right now. B, I didn't know where work was gonna be coming in from. C, like, you've been isolated for so long, like, and we finally get out and get to do the thing that we love so much. That, like, on the last day, I'm buying cookies for everyone, like 350, and just having the best time, and I felt so like warm and amazing for it, and everyone else did. And I don't know, I prefer feeling like that rather than having to feel all of the pressure and all of that stuff. There's no point. Like, why would that's such a negative feeling? Why would you want that?
And let me tell you, people remember nice people on the way up,
True.
And you never know who you meet. That runner that you're talking to will one day be a director or producer,
100%.
Ego for some people can certainly get in the way, but being kind, and I mean, I love the crew. They're my people on set, and just being really nice to everyone, and enjoying it. It's really important.
Yeah, it goes a long way. I'm learning that.
Yeah, exactly. What would you say are your biggest challenges that you faced so far?
That's a good question, man. My biggest challenge that I've faced so far is kind of, I think, learning everything by myself and not having, say, like, anyone in my immediate family or people around that went down the same route that I went down and could either give me advice, give me connections, give me opportunities. Like, literally doing it myself and knocking on doors and making my own opportunities and not waiting for so and so. Now it's different because now you have like a whole group of people that that can introduce you to so and so, and it works better. Whereas before, when I was younger, I was just like, literally, all right, cool, you in your room have this vision, this idea. How do you go out there and make it a reality? Knock on doors, make yourself known, create work, network, be polite, be friendly, and ask for advice. And then what I'm realizing now as I'm getting older is there's other people who have had it a bit more easier than that, in regards to they might have a dad who knows a friend who knows an auntie or an uncle that might help them with so and so. And I'm like, oh, that's amazing. Like when I have kids and if they ever want to do that, I would definitely help them with it. But I just remember I wasn't able to kind of do that. So I think that was probably, yeah, one of the challenging things for sure.
Well, we want IAMPRO to be that dad and auntie and uncle that people can come to, and we can help them open that door in whatever way we can.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. That's why anytime anybody asks me now to like be interviewed or give any gems or like give anything, I'm like, yeah, 100%. Because I know there's going to be a younger me watching this, listening to this, trying to write down stuff that might help them in their journey, because I've done the same thing to so many other people. I've listened so intently to other people's journeys and been like, okay, they done it like that. Okay, maybe I can do it like that, or maybe I can do it somewhere else, or anything like that. Yeah.
What would you say to the younger you, Mim, looking to go on this journey?
I tell him, don't stress, man. It's going to work out. It's all right. I'll be like, chill out, relax, don't stress, enjoy life. It's going to happen. But I think there was elements in the younger me that was very much like, oh, what's happening? Oh, this hasn't happened. Oh, I haven't achieved that. Oh, this ain't going well. Like, I'd always be looking at the negatives, and I'd always be worrying about, you know, the next thing, or the just like too much work worry. And like if I could speak to him, I'd just be like, bro, don't worry, man. And it's easy for me to say that when I'm now here, but at the time you just don't know what's going to happen around the corner, so you're a bit apprehensive. But I just say, just chill out, just relax and enjoy life. Stuff will start happening when it's meant to happen, but don't be lazy. I'd also say don't be lazy
and pay attention, because you know it's all very, we'll chill out, but be curious, pay attention, listen, and if something presents itself, then follow it. It's happening for a reason, you know. Don't ignore those opportunities, and don't think like, oh, I'm not good enough, or they didn't really mean that for me, or always pursue an opportunity, I would say.
Yeah. What you said at the beginning, which is about curiosity, I think is so, I think with every human, I think people can be more curious just in life in general. I think curiosity is one of the most amazing things that we can experience as human beings, because what it leads to is like worlds that can just open up. Like I was curious to know who my biological father was. Like I was curious. That's where that whole thought process started, of me trying to and making a documentary for the BBC about it, is because of curiosity. Like literally, if I was not a curious individual, I would have not done one of the most amazing things that I've ever been able to experience in my entire life.
Can you talk us through that a little bit and what happened?
Yeah. In 2018, I got commissioned to make a 1 hour factual documentary called Finding Dad for BBC Three, where I basically went and searched for my biological father. And I didn't know where he was. I didn't have no pictures. I didn't have any clue of what he looked like. I didn't have any stories or whatever. And yeah, we made the documentary. And I found him in some village in like rural Kashmir. And here I am, South London, like 25, 26-year-old, being like, what? Like, this is mad. It's so nuts. And yeah, I got to share that journey with like so many people. And like, obviously it went out like globally, nationally, across the BBC. And yeah, I always knew that a lot of people don't know who their fathers are, or they might not have the best relationship with their fathers. I always known that was quite a common thing, but I didn't know to the extreme once I got the feedback from the documentary. Like I'd be getting messages every day, like hundreds of people being like, oh my God, I love your doc so much. I don't know who my dad is either, and I might go search for him. That message was repeated thousands of times. Like,
wow.
And I was like, wow, here I was thinking all these other people have got it better than me because they've got a mum and dad and they've got a nuclear setup in their family. Whereas in reality, the majority of the case, a lot of people don't have like the best relationships with their fathers. And my doc allowed for them to kind of voice their frustration or their ability to kind of see the same similarity in someone else, which was, it was an amazing thing. It was, life-changing.
Wow. And can we still see that doc? Can people still go see it is it on YouTube? Do you know?
The trailer's on YouTube. It was on iPlayer from 2018 to like late last year. I think we're going to try and find the production company and us. We're talking about like trying to find another home for it. So it might make it onto like a streaming platform, fingers crossed, or somewhere where people can watch it. Because I feel like right now, especially like during the pandemic and stuff, people would really like warm to it and be able to relate to it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, what an extraordinary experience. So in the beginning, I introduced you as a broadcaster and actor and writer. You are writing your own feature film that you are looking to get commissioned. You are actually going through the process now. How did you come up with your idea? How have you got it down? What experience have you got of writing, or you just building characters? And then what do you do with the script? How do you go about getting that made? Can you just talk us through your journey that you are living through at the moment?
Yeah, it's relatively new to me. I'm literally learning it as I've been going on, but I think I've been writing.
I love that you're just like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to do it anyway. That's how things present itself, you know. You learn to go, ask for help. Amazing.
I genuinely don't know where it's going to go. I just have this curiosity again, I guess, for it, and I've been writing it last year. I started writing my feature last year, and I finally got it to a place where I'm more happier with it. And I think I've been writing from before. Like when you say writing, I think people think like screenwriting, right? And screenwriting is an art, but I've been writing like either like diary entries, spoken word pieces, radio links, documentary links. Like I've been writing for a very, very long time. So when you then take those skills that you've been writing in and then apply it into, say, the screenwriting medium of writing, you are a writer because you have been. But now I guess you're just learning the formula, the kind of the order, the structure of things and how they need to be. That's what I've kind of been doing over the past like 6 to 12 months, is just learning how to kind of fit everything together and how to present it in the best way, and learning about different structures, different story formats, A storylines, B storylines, all these different and just learning about the craft of it. Whereas now what I'm trying to do is like forget all of that and refocus on what your voice is and what is it that you're really just trying to say, and stop trying to approach it like it's a university assignment that has to be in at a certain deadline, because it's not. It needs to be, in my opinion, it needs to come from the heart. It needs to be something quite real, quite transparent, and something that I think might be beneficial to other people, because that's what I think art is primarily there for. So yeah, that's kind of it all in a nutshell at the moment. But the idea that I'm doing is kind of based on my documentary that I was just talking about. Like it's a feature film. It's like I want it to be like a British independent drama, coming of age story about a young Pakistani guy living in South London, like reconnecting with his biological father. But obviously the documentary went out and that was 110% truthful. But the drama is more like dramatized. It's like certain things have been created for dramatic effect. There's more fleshed out characters. There's more, there's just a lot more happening and a lot more room for more creativity within it.
I think as well, writing from life experience is also a really good place to start. Write about what you know.
Yeah, exactly. Because
try not to intellectualize it. Do you know what I mean? Just know your story and the way you talk, and your friends talk even, and just get all of that down, you know.
Yeah, because that's what they turn around and they say, that, you know, you should write about what you know. And if you're a first time writer, you're sat there thinking, well, what do I know about, you know, you ask yourself that question. What is it that you can speak on that maybe other people can't speak on? And what would be what is it that your voice can bring and lend itself to? So yeah, like I say, I'm not an expert in it. I'm figuring it out. I'm learning. I'm redrafting stages, and hopefully, like, fingers crossed, I can get it commissioned and I can make it, because I'm really passionate about it, and I really want to, just make it for people.
That's amazing. Well, darling, good luck with the film and with everything in your career. I mean, I just love that you'll learn. The more you learn, the more you realize, the less you know. That's something that I sort of live by, and that's what holds my curiosity. And with this platform, and trying to deliver the best product we can to young creatives, we're learning all the time about what's right, and just get stuck in and just get it out there and do it. I say you're an inspiration.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. I don't. I find that word hard because I feel like I'm just doing, and I'm just being, and I'm just coming from. I feel like we've all got stories to tell. I feel like we've all been through things, and I feel like if people want to share that in art, I think it's amazing. If they don't, and so be it. But I don't know. I feel like people call you an inspiration when you're just being like authentic, and you're just being real, and you're just being honest with A, how you feel, and B, how you see the world. And I feel like everyone can do that, and everyone's has like a unique experience to kind of share that at the same time.
Yeah, it's just find their way of finding that expression, I suppose.
Exactly. And that can be through anything. Like, it might not be acting, it might not be writing, it might be through painting, it might be through dancing, it might be through drawing. But I guess what's similar between us is we can do that and express through being other people and wearing different hats in our careers. And I think it's amazing.
And not being boxed as well. So many people just want to put us in boxes, or you're one thing, and they can't. And hopefully the world is changing at the moment, but
yeah, the box thing is so like, I've never been a fan of the box thing early on. Like, I've never understood it. And I think it's I don't know, it's a global thing, but people just like really want to just know that person, what is he known for? Like, or what are they known for? What is she known for? What's the one thing that it's like, no, what are you talking about? This person is an overall embodiment of doing vast different things.
Creativity.
Yeah, exactly. They're a creative individual, and there are creative people. There are like not so creative people, but I genuinely feel everyone has like the creative streak within them, and it's like a muscle that you build over time. But I just feel like that what is with this boxing thing? Like, why do they love boxing people in? It don't make any sense.
I'm jumping out of mine.
Wait, so what was your box?
Well, I suppose it's actress, soap star, actress, bad girl, typecast. That's and there's so much more I want to do with all different things in life, and I'm our favorite word. I'm curious about everything, about women, about business, about the arts, about the young people in the arts breaking into the industry. I still have a passion for acting. I love presenting. Not that I've done a lot of presenting, but I love people.
Nah, but you're really good at it, and I feel like it is a natural thing. If you're naturally got that flair and you're good with people, it is just something that you are really natural at, and so be it, man. You should definitely like, even titles, they're starting to annoy me a lot. Like, I don't know why, but having to say that you are this and you are that and you are this and you are that is like, really? Like, can't we just like scrap them and just be like, yeah, but I guess the question is then, what do you do? When people ask the question, what do you do? And you turn around and you say, oh, I am a da 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 da. And then straight away they have a perception of that type of person or what they do. And it's, I don't know. I've just got this ongoing battle at the moment right now with like labels and identity and titles and boxes. I was just doing my head in a little bit.
Yeah. Well, listen, don't listen to them. You create your own boxes, baby.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm sure that this is not the last we're going to see of you on the IAMPRO community. I hope not anyway. I'd love you to do some work with our young creatives. And,
100%. I'd love to.
So we'll see you again. I know it.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Charlie. I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed speaking about everything. I think the questions you've asked are amazing. And yeah, for anyone who wants to learn, be inspired, and just take everything in their stride, this is an amazing platform that has been set up by someone with a really big heart to go and do that. And yeah, just, I guess, comment, like, do whatever it is that you need to do in order to watch the content. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. I will see you soon. Over and out, Mim.